Hi everyone, this is Richard. In this video, let's go over button widgets, but we'll also go over scaffold widgets. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe go on a little bit of a rant here. I usually don't do this, and I'm not gonna do this a lot, but this is really frustrating for me because I'm going back and forth on this thing, and it's really just, it's driving me crazy at times. So if I look to this and it says basic widgets, okay, this is the Flutter Widget Catalog, and these are the widgets that we absolutely have to understand. If I look at this, it seems like all of these are in the same category, right? They're kind of created equal, and it would kind of seem so. But when you come to here, like we mentioned before, the text, the image is not the same as the text. In other words, it's not doesn't have the same simplicity of rendering as the text does. In fact, it's a lot more complicated. And if that's the case, then why keep it in the same category? Now, you might think, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that I'm actually running into some troubles here. So I tried the raised button and to experiment with it, and it didn't work very well. And I'll go over just a few minutes of why it didn't go well and how do we actually do that. And then an appBar, I would follow that in the same category. This isn't in the same category as scaffold. It makes it confusing because of the organization, and it's super frustrating. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm kind of, number one, going in circles, and I do understand that. What I'm hoping to do is just understand a lot of these widgets and just get an idea of what do they actually do before I put them together again. Okay, so it's just, I'm just getting used to something like that. I hope this works out. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be ended up not doing anything, but I hope it does. Okay, so if we look at a raised button, right? What do I actually do? Can I just put it under the home? Because it is a widget, right? Can I just put it home? Well, no, because all widgets are not created equal. So if I tried putting it right inside of there, it just nothing renders. Well, why is that? Well, I think the answer is that the material app widget is the entire screen, the entire environment for your application. Scaffold, in my mind, it seems to be similar to Canvas on HTML. So you have the entire application, but you may want different sections of it to split it out. So you want something where you can actually draw basic structures. So it's basically the structural, what does it say right here? Implements the basic material design visual layout structure. So it's one of those things that here's the structure of it, everything inside of here, and you can go from there, okay? And if I click on this, what does it do? Okay, nothing. So that's where scaffold actually comes in. It shouldn't be on the same page as raised button and appBar, okay, fine, or even all of these other things, but that's what we have to keep in mind. Okay, rant over. Now, we have the scaffold right inside of here. That's a whole new thing. Under the home, we'll have a new scaffold. In the scaffold, there's a bunch of different properties. And notice there's appBar right here, and there's floatingActionButton, and then there's new raised button. So let's go over those right now. If we go under scaffold, under the documentation, we see a whole bunch of different properties right inside here. Now, all of these properties, not all of these properties are created equal also. Some of them are very simple and straightforward. Others of them are kind of complicated. So we'll just get the gist of some of these things. Floating action button. Floating action button is this button right here. It's always in this right lower corner. It's always there. I don't know if you can move it around. So far, it doesn't seem that you actually can. And a floating action button, of course, you have to have a different widget. So you have a widget on the scaffold on the material app, okay? And this one is new raised and on pressed. I don't have any method right here because we haven't gone through methods in this particular context. So I'm going to leave that null. The problem if we leave it null, though, unfortunately, is it's grayed out. You can't really do a whole lot with the coloring, with the styling and stuff if it's all grayed out. So that's one of the problems. But what I can say is in the raised button, in the documentation, most of these things, the brightness and stuff like that, child widget, when you have a child, that's the button's label. So in this particular widget, I'll say child new text push me, and it'll at least have the label push me. I guess I could put this other type of stuff, disabled text color. Let's try that. Disabled text color I'll make it colors dot green. Let's see what that looks like. So it's, okay, we'll change that to green. Okay, so you can make some changes right from there. One more rant. Okay, so colors.green, how do I know it's colors.green and not color.green? There is documentation. It's really hard to find. So it's kind of something that you have to memorize. Super frustrating because it took a while to figure that out. It shouldn't take that long, but it does. All right, so I don't know if there's a better solution to that. I'm not coming up with the answers. If I had a rant, I wouldn't, you know, I'd actually would have answers. I wouldn't have to rant, right? So I'm just saying that just keep that in mind. And there's something else in the future. It's going to be edge insets. I still haven't figured the edge insets out with the padding. I'm going to work on that. Maybe that's a future video. Okay, so that's at the stage of colors.green in my mind. I'm sure it's documented somewhere. I have to figure out how to use that and what the behavior actually is. But that's for a future video. Okay, next is appBar. And if we remember what that was, right over here, appBar. What's appBar? That's the thing on the top right here. New appBar right here, and right there. And then title, new text. Hello, background color is red, and I'll make it that color right there. Then we have a bunch of other types of properties: bottomNavigationBar, drawer, persistentFooterButtons. Now these things, what you could do for these is you could have, these are not actually, it's not like, notice here, appBar, you have a new appBar. We could have a bottomNavigationBar if I did that here, but that is a little bit more complicated. So I just wanted to do this for demonstration purposes. We'll get more of that into the future. And we just have a bunch of different features. What's drawer? Well, if you left click here and you swipe on over, I'll get there. Hang on. It's not working super well. There we go. It's the drawer is right there. That should be a, what is that? It's just a button to, when you swipe to the left, you may see some phones have that, or you could click on here and it brings it out right there. If it was an icon and you can click on it, you know, that's the purpose of that. And then of course there's the body. I'm not going to put anything in here, but this is a widget. You could put any widget inside of here. So remember, here's the widget. You can have child widgets to the scaffold to put it all inside of here, and those would be the widgets in the widgets, and it keeps going on and on. All right, so that's just the button widgets, the scaffold, plus the other stuff inside of there, just for good measure, just so we understand the basic structure of that. And let's keep going over the basic structure and the types of widgets so we can have a better understanding of this and how to put them all together in the future. Thanks.